හිතවතුනි අපි මීළඟ අඩහෝරාව විශේෂිත සාකච්ඡාවක් සඳහා වෙන් කරගෙන තියෙනවා. ඒ සඳහා අපි ඊටාම ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කරලා තියෙනවා JICA ප්‍රධාන නියෝජිතතුමන්ට Yamada Tetsuya මහත්මයාව අපි එතුමන් එක්ක සාකච්ඡාවක් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. රටක් විදිහට අපිට වැදගත් කරුණාකාරණා රැසක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඉඩ දෙන්න මට එතුමන් එක්ක මේ සාකච්ඡාව මෙහෙවන්නට ඔබ වෙනුවෙන්. So, warm welcome to you, Ayubowan.
Ayubowan.
JICA, Japan's International Cooperation Agency. JICA, as it's very well known. It's celebrating 70th anniversary of Japan's official development assistance to Sri Lanka. And you have been there since 2021, sir.
Yes.
And you're no stranger to Rupavahini. We were watching you on TV yesterday also, but that is singing, that's separate. We'll get there at the end of our discussion. But I would like to get your insights on when you assumed the role of Chief Representative of JICA to Sri Lanka way back in 2021. What were the challenges that you faced, and how did you navigate through those challenges? How did you overcome those challenges during your tenure?
Right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure having you on the show, sir.
Yes. Yeah, you rightly mentioned, you know, I've been here since 2021. I came here in April 2021, so that was at the very onset of the COVID,
the pandemic,
second wave. That's what they call it, right? So right after the Sinhala Tamil New Year's holiday, I came here. So then, you know, the second wave really started to kick off. And, you know, so my first year was very, very tough. My immediate challenge at the time was to memorize all the names and faces of the staff members of JICA office, because every time I go to the office, no one's there. Basically, they are working from home, and you know, so I didn't really get to see as many people as I wanted to see, and I didn't get to go out of Colombo to get to see, you know, what are there, how our projects are going on, and things like that. So the first year was very, very tough, but we did a lot of things in terms of helping people with overcoming the challenges because of the COVID-19. So we provided some medical assistance and protections from COVID and things like that. And as a year went by, as you know, the economic crisis really, you know, started to
cripple the entire economy here.
Yeah. So followed by many, many challenges in terms
the political
unrest.
Through that also in.
Yeah. So I went through all these crises after crisis. Of course, during the economic crisis, we also done a lot. Japanese government was really, you know, leading the discussions for debt restructuring as a co-chair country together with the Indian government and French government. So the 2022, 2023, 2024 was really tough in terms of, you know, overcoming this huge challenge in terms of debt restructuring. And as a result, we were able to sign the bilateral individual agreement on debt restructuring just last week. On Friday 7th of March, we were able to sign, finally, the debt restructuring agreement. So that really officially concludes the debt restructuring process, at least between Japan and Sri Lanka. So that's how we basically
if you make a list of the crisis scenarios that you had to go through, starting with the pandemic,
right?
You couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah.
If you have a full basket of all that could have happened over the last few years. Coming back to the current situation, we are very appreciative of the role JICA has been playing all along for the last few decades, right? That means a lot to us, and I would like to say that as a country we are indebted to Japan for all the assistance, not just the official development assistance, but on other fronts also that's been coming through. If I were to ask you now, if you look at the diplomatic relation aspect of it between Japan and Sri Lanka, there have been a few turbulent times. There have been a few trying, tough times. What was your contribution in kind of managing the relationship between the two countries?
Well, in terms of the bilateral relationship, we actually celebrated the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations in 2022.
22.
Yeah, but there was again, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, so we were not able to celebrate in a big way, but we had several small occasions to commemorate the 70th anniversary. But I think, as a chief representative of JICA Conference, frankly, I didn't do much about it because, navigating the Sri Lanka-Japan relationship, I didn't really think that's really my role to do because, because that long-lasting, very solid, friendly relationship is already there. And, so only thing I was very sort of aware of and very keen on was to pass this, a good relationship between the two countries onto the new generations. So I thought I should go beyond the boundary of responsibility of mine as a chief representative of JICA Conference to provide more and more opportunities for younger generations to feel this good relationship between the two countries. I am actually serving as an executive member of Japanese Solidarity Association, which is the co-organizer of Bon Festival, together with the Embassy of Japan and the Youth Council. So holding this Bon Festival, which is basically the traditional Japanese summer festival where people dance together and get together to basically welcome back the ancestral souls that comes back home.
Interesting.
Yeah, once a year in the summertime, and the family members get together and friends get together to welcome the souls of the ancestor.
Sure.
So Bon Festival is very sort of symbolic way of celebrating the friendship and unity and solidarity of the community and society.
Super.
So I was able to hold this, basically resume the Bon Festival in Sri Lanka for the first time, I think, in 5 years or so. Because of the COVID-19 and terrorist attack in 2019, it was not held for a very long time. And I was able to do it, resume it in 2022. So
happy news.
That's So that's one of the examples of how I was able to contribute to passing this very long-lasting, good relationship between the two countries to the younger generation.
Understand. Sir, allow me to capture the essence of the insights that you are sharing with us right now for the benefit of the bigger audience here. Just a few minutes only. හිතවතුනි අද දවසේ අපිත් එක්ක මේ සාකච්ඡාවට එළඹිලා ඉන්නේ JICA ආයතනයේ ප්‍රධාන නියෝජිතතුමන්. එතුමන් සඳහන් කරන්නේ එතුමන් මේ භූමිකාව 2021 අවුරුද්දේ ගන්නකොට කොවිඩ් වසංගතය ඒත් එක්කම ආපු ආර්ථික අර්බුදය ඒත් එක්කම රටේ දේශපාලන අස්ථාවරත්වයත් එක්ක ආපු මේ සියලුම අභියෝග හරහා මේ JICA ආයතනය හරහා ලංකාවට ලබා දෙන්නට ජපාන රජය බලාපොරොත්තු වෙච්ච ඒ ආධාර සහයෝගය ද්විපාර්ශ්වීය සබඳතා සංවර්ධනය කිරීමට එතුමන්ගේ දායකත්වය ගැන තමයි එතුමන් කතා කරේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි අර මුල අවුරුදු කීපය ටිකක් අසීරුකම් මැද්දේ වැඩ කරගෙන ගියා වුණත් දැන් වඩා හොඳින් විශේෂයෙන්ම තරුණ පිරිස් එකතු කරගෙන ලංකාවේ ජපානයේ මේ තරුණ ප්‍රජාවත් එක්ක මේ දෙරට අතර සුහදතාවය වර්ධනය කරගන්නට මේ සංස්කෘතික සංදර්ශන සම ෆෙස්ටිවල් එක ගැන එතුමන් සඳහන් කරා. එතුමන් කරගෙන යන කාර්යභාරය ගැන තමයි අපි මෙතෙක් දුර කතා කරගෙන ආවේ. I'm coming back to you. Sir, in your opinion, now you have seen the political landscape, how it changed in Sri Lanka over the last few years. Now we are enjoying political stability. We have a strong government going. The economy is, getting stabilized more or less. In this context, in your opinion, what will some of the challenges that Sri Lanka may be facing in the coming few years, and how can an organization like JICA contribute?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think the Sri Lankan community, society, and economy has been stabilized quite surprisingly in a very short period of time relative to some other countries' experiences. So I would like to comment the efforts of the government and the patience and perseverance and solidarity and unity and resilience of the older people of Sri Lanka. So that's the first thing. But we are not completely out of the woods yet. So we need to protect some vulnerable people yet. So that's an immediate challenge that we are facing right now. And JICA is, of course, ready to provide any possible necessary responses to those very vulnerable people. Behind this turmoil, economic crisis and social crisis, I think there are some, structural issues. Those traditional, those issues are there for such a long time. So I think the structural reform efforts needs to be done on the side of the government, on the side of the private sector as well. For example, fight against corruption is number one problem, right? And I think reducing the deficit, both in terms of fiscal deficit and international balance, that's also very much of a challenge, and for which we are basically providing a lot of technical assistance as well as the financial assistance as well. Unless we solve this, fundamental reform challenges, we won't be able to get back on the normal track. So that's one aspect of JICA's contributions in the future. And also, not only that, I think in order for all of us to see robust economic growth, which was lost in the past several years, we really need to accelerate the growth. So in that sense, such assistance as infrastructure development support from JICA is quite important. For example, we are currently working on expansion of the passenger terminal of BIA, for example, and we are also trying to support the government to transition this economic system to digital economy, for example, by way of changing the analog TV system to a digital TV system and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunity between Japan and Sri Lanka to cooperate together.
Totally agree on the fact that we're not totally out of the woods. Not that everything's hunky-dory. It's just that I think it's fair enough to say at this junction that we can be convinced that we are headed in the correct direction.
Right.
We had, in terms of the political instability, you spoke about corruption, you spoke about the requirements for robust changes to structural changes, if I may say. There's a need, there's an outcry, there's a public outcry that we need to get this ship in order.
Sure.
Not to say that everything's hunky-dory, but I think the country is relieved that we are heading,
Right.
or we are headed in the correct direction, which is a massive relief, I would say.
Right.
I would like to have some insights from you about the long-standing relationship that the two countries have been sharing. 70 years is a long time when you look at the diplomatic relations between Japan and Sri Lanka. These two nations have been like working together. Obviously, we have been counting on Japan, depending on the relief, the aids in terms of diplomacy that came our way. Would you like to give us some historic context to the surrounding of this relationship, sir?
Right. Okay, thank you. Well, that's a very important aspect of the bilateral relationship. You know, we actually celebrated the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relationship in 2022. And then last year, 2024, we celebrated the 70th anniversary of international cooperation, official development assistance, ODA. Not only to Sri Lanka, but our global operation of ODA as a whole in 2024. Japan joined the Colombo Plan in 1954. Colombo Plan is the international organization headquartered in Sri Lanka, Colombo, and you know, that was the first international organization headquartered in Asia, and it was actually the first international organization, you know, focused on the support of the developing countries in terms of economic growth and social dimension as well. You know, we were defeated in the World War II, which was ended in 1945. So 1954 was only 9 years after the war ended, and Japan was at that time, you know, still struggling to, you know, get back on the normal trajectory to recover from the loss of you know, economy.
There was massive devastation.
Massive devastation. So we started from ashes. We were burnt out totally. So during that time, I think Ceylon was a great help to Japan. You know, 3 years before the Japan's accession to Colombo Plan, there was a San Francisco Peace Conference in 1951. Whereas the, you know, Sri Lankan Ceylon delegation was headed by the then finance minister Jayawardena. Later he became the president of the country, and he made a historic speech citing Lord Buddha's famous word, "Hatred ceases not by hatred but by love," and you know, trying to call upon all the participating nations to give up on reparation and compensation, and to warmly welcome Japan back again into international society. So that was how Japan was, you know, so much helped by Ceylon and Sri Lanka. And then, you know, 1954, we joined Colombo Plan, right? And there, I think 9 years after the war was ended, we somehow became a donor country by joining this Colombo Plan, actually. So that was the starting point of the Japan's ODA, and that was very much of the turning point of, you know, Japanese history in terms of recovery from the war.
So pardon me.
Yes.
Pardon me, just for a second. I need to give it over for a time check. I'm sorry.
Commercial credit run line.
You may continue, sir, please.
Okay. So that was how the two nations helped each other, and we Japanese people are still very much grateful to what Ceylon did and what the Sri Lankan government and its people did for Japan in terms of the recovery of Japan from the defeat of the war. So naturally, throughout this history of 70 years of cooperation between the two countries, we've done a lot, and it's almost like unconditional, natural thing. We felt, we've been feeling each other like family almost. Like whenever you have a problem, we give helping hands, vice versa.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's
I'm actually glad that you mentioned that, sir, because this aspect of solidarity that is shared between the two countries. I remember we had this program called Connect Sri Lanka some time ago, where we selected ambassadors from other countries who represented Sri Lanka in other countries. And I remember some entrepreneurs saying that the Japan, the corporate world, that they welcome Sri Lankan businessmen with open hands, and there's like a certain amount of like a kind of a goodwill, if I may say so, towards us. So I think it stems from that background that you mentioned. Glad you mentioned that. Yeah, I would like to see our conversation to another interesting topic. JICA volunteers. So it's quite heartening to see these youngsters enthusiastically, they are quite conversant in local languages for one thing, and they are quite committed, and their activities are at the grassroots level communities, and it's heartwarming to see how dedicated they are and how serious they take their work. Would you like to give us a background about the history of the JICA volunteers to us and how they operate?
Right. This year, 2025, actually commemorates the 60th anniversary of start of the volunteer activities globally. We started this volunteer operations in 1981. But globally, we started this operation in 1965. So this is the 60th anniversary year of start of the volunteer program globally. So through these 60 years, the cumulative total number of volunteers JICA has ever dispatched to any countries in the world is actually standing at a little over 56,000. So massive number of volunteers have been deployed, here and there.
That's to other countries
to
also,
other countries
right?
as well. And in Sri Lanka, we have deployed so far, I think, 1,150, more or less 1,200 volunteers to everywhere in the country. Right now we have 24 volunteers deployed, working in many fields like Japanese language trainer, PE, physical education trainer, and youth trainer, and some are working on the elderly care, nursing, and automobile repair, and many other different areas. So those volunteers are really working on the grassroots level, which is not something that JICA itself can provide, right? We basically are working on some big infrastructure projects or reform agenda of the government and things like that, which is quite large. So, but on the other hand, I think that exchange and human-to-human connectivity on the ground at the grassroots level is really making a difference in terms of bringing up this relationship between the Sri Lanka and Japan.
JICA ස්වේච්ඡා වෙන් ලංකාවේ වැඩ කරන පිරිස තරුණ ප්‍රජාවත් එක්ක බොහොම ළඟින් සුහදශීලීව හිතවත්ව කරන කාර්යභාරය ගැන තමයි එතුමන් සඳහන් කරේ. Going back to what I hinted at the beginning of our discussion, the musician in you, the singer in you, the drummer in you. Tell us a little bit. We know that it means something to you. I mean, not every one of us, all of us are artistically blessed, if I may say so. So the singing ability and the drumming ability, and what is your kind of connection to art?
Right. Well, I mean,
we have videos. We have a video to see, so before we see that.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm a big fan of music, actually. No music, no life. I started to play pianos when I was 4.
Wow.
So I'm very much thankful to my parents actually to let me start playing the piano when I was 4. But you know, as time goes by, and you know, the small kids, you know, especially boys, right, like me, you know, they don't stay home to play the piano. So gradually, I didn't like it very much. So I got outside the home and, you know, play outside. But you know, I quit playing piano when I was 4th grade in the primary school, and immediately after that, I felt like, you know, something's missing in my life. You know, I need to play some musical instruments and singing and things like that. So I started to play the drums. I asked my mom and dad to let me play drums. They actually bought the drum set, and so that's how I started the drums when I was at the 5th grade of primary school. So since then, I've been playing the drums.
Being appreciative of art, we think is something admirable, and I would like to take this opportunity to like recap what went on last night. So we wish we had more time to elaborate on, you know, what Sri Lanka means to you and what this JICA role means to you, all of that. But I'm sure we'll get opportunities in the near future, and we are grateful to you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
You too. Thank you.
And there's a token of appreciation that we would like to present to you. Out of the many schools that JICA has, you know, assisted, donated funds, you know, been a part of their progress, I would like to call upon Principal Ravindra Pushpakumar and all Sumangalian Union's President, Mr. Roshan Rodrigo, to present you with a token of appreciation for all the yeoman services provided by JICA for their school. So this is just one you know, instance where they are having the opportunity to be grateful to you.
Thank
so
you.
A moment to remember.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So please, some.
Okay. Very good. Thank
Our
you.
thanks to Mr. Ravindra Pushpakumar and Mr. Roshan Rodrigo for doing the honors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief Representative of JICA Sri Lanka, Mr. Yamada Tetsuya. Thank you once again for coming on the show. It was interesting and it was an engaging, insightful chat that we had within a brief few minutes. Thank you once again and all the best.
Thank you.
All tasks that you are taking up.
Thank you very much for having me.
ඔව් අද දවසේ අපි අපේ ආයිබෝවන් මේ අඩහෝරාවට එකතු කරගත්තේ JICA ප්‍රධාන නියෝජිතතුමන් යමාඩා තෙත්සුයා මහත්මයාව. එතුමන් සඳහන් කරා මොනතරම් බලාපොරොත්තු සහගතව මේ ලංකාවේ ඉදිරි වසර ගණනාව ඒ ප්‍රගතිය වෙනුවෙන් දියුණුව වෙනුවෙන් රටක් විදියට ජපානය, රජයක් විදියට ජපානය, ආයතනයක් විදියට JICA ඔවුන්ගේ කැපවීම තමයි එතුමන් සඳහන් කළේ. ඒ වගේම ලංකාවේ ඉතා ඉක්මවින් සිද්ධ විය යුතු ව්‍යුහාත්මක වෙනස්කම් ගැන එතුමන් සඳහන් කරා. දේශපාලන සාවරත්වය ගැන සතුටු වෙනවා කියන සඳහනත් එක්කම විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ දූෂණය මර්ධනය කරන්නට සහ ලංකාවේ ව්‍යුහාත්මක වෙනස් වීම සිදු විය යුතුමයි කියලා කිව්වා. ඉතා ශීඝ්‍ර දියුණුවක් කරා ලංකාවේ යන ගමනේ හවුල්කරුවෙක් වෙන්නට ජපානය මේ ආවදුර වගේම ආදරෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා කියනත් සඳහන් කරා. With all of that, I would like to bid you goodbye just for this once. Ayubowan once again.
Ayubowan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.